Okay, it's ready for to the starting the session. Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Brisbane. Also, welcome to the NIR6 session. I am Toshio Tachibana, chair of the NIR6. Also, we have two co-chairs, Jessica and AJ, is here. So, okay, we will start it. First of all, NIR6, NIR6 is a charter is here. You already know the or SIG purpose is exchange the information and exchange the knowledge of each countries, and also we can achieve the working together within the Asian Pacific region for the each country or each economy. So probably you already have subscribed to the e-mailing list, but if you didn't subscribe it, there is information for that. So please subscribe the mailing list for NIR6. At this time, we have no action items. And we are continuously holding this style of session in near future. Oh. Okay, today's agenda is here. Also, I'm very happy for the one additional agenda to this one because Indonesian NIR will present the update from here to today. So because also we have all of NIR update today. It's very happy for that. Okay, we have only the 90 minutes for all of the NIR update. So let's get start for the presentation. At first, the Apnic, presented by Jessica. Okay, please change the material.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica from Apnic. I'm very happy to see you again at this meeting. Today, I'd like to give you an update on what Apnic has been working on recently, and I'm also looking forward to hear yours. It's my outline. Member growth, IPv4 allocation, IPv6 allocation, and large IPv6 request, China Internet statistics, .cn domain name, and SSL certificate. Sorry. I can't see the screen. I have to go back. Yes. Member growth. Until September 2014, the number of Apnic IP members has reached 645. You can see a dramatic member growth from May to September this year. The outstanding growth in the recent 4 months has exceeded the annual growth over the past years. This phenomenal growth was due to the new implement Apnic policy of distribution of IPv4 recovered addresses, as well as Synic's business promotion after the policy. Member types and change trend. You can see from the graph on the left. The graph on the left shows the member types until the end of 2013, and the graph on the right shows the member types until now. Have you noticed the difference between the two graphs? The main difference is the share of the IDC members, which increased from 16% to 21% in recent 9 months. Indeed, as we observed, the IDC members are traditional applicants for IP members, but the situation changed a lot in the last 2 years. More and more enterprises came to us to request for their independent IP addresses or AS numbers, but in recent months there are more and more IDC companies come to us to request IP addresses. Another observation from us is about 1/3 of the new members this year are doing or going to do cloud computing business, according to the network plan they submit to us. Member locations and change trend. From this chart, you can see until the end of last year, our members covered 22 provinces, and until now, our members cover 26 provinces. The 22 province was marked with green dots in Chinese map, and the new added ones this year was marked with red dots. It is worth noticing most of the new added provinces are less developed areas in China. That change was associated with government supporting policies to these less developed areas, as well as the cloud computing development. Many large-scale cloud computing service providers choose the less developed areas to construct their data centers to reduce the cost and the resources, which was greatly supported and welcomed by the local governments. IPv4 allocation. Synic has allocated nearly 300,000/24 IPv4 addresses to our members. As our observation, member and the final /A IPv4 allocations, as well as the recovered IPv4 allocations, all these small allocations rapidly increased for these years. IPv6 allocation. Cynic has allocated 6,429 /32s in all to our members. As shown in this chart, Cynic experienced a dramatic IPv6 allocation growth since 2013. That because we have allocated 3 large IPv6 allocations to our members. Sorry, let's back to the last page. So here, I like to talk about the large IPv6 request in China from our observation. There are 3 types of large IPv6 requests now. The first type is from the major operators. All the 3 major operators in China have requests for very large IPv6 blocks for their huge number of access internet users, data center, and business systems. The second type is China e-government astronaut. It was a representative of government adoption of IPv6. Chinese government astronaut request a large IPv6 block because they follow the Chinese government principle to promoting IPv6 that government networks must go first for the informalization and adoption of IPv6 and other new technologies. The third type is China National Petroleum Corporation. They just requested a very large IPv6 block from us because they want to large scale adopt IPv6 for the Internet of Things in their petroleum industry network. So their request is a representative of industry adoption of IoT and IPv6. China Internet Statistics. Cynic has released the statistical report on internet development in China twice a year, which has become an authoritative report in China. And also, this year is the 20th. This year is also the 20th anniversary of China Internet. So here I'd like to share you some basic data of China Internet. We have got 632 million internet users. Mobile internet users has 500 million, and the internet penetration of China is 46%, and we have 2.73 million websites, and the IP address amount is 330 million, and domain names in China is 19 million. Domain name developed. As you know, Cynic, besides IP addresses, Cynic also operates domain names. So I'll give you a short update on this. DOCN domain name is China's CCTLD, operated and administered by Apnic. Through Apnic's implementation of real name registration management, the real name rate of DOCN has approached 100%. Apnic began to provide more services related to domain name security to make DOCN a high reliable domain name. And you can see the growth trend from this graph. Apnic SSL certificate. Apnic SSL certificates builds a secure tunnel between the web servers and the user browsers to ensure the security of data transmission and help the users to verify websites through the certificate. Apnic is the first Chinese certificate authority certified by Web Trust. Nearly 100 browsers in the world trusted Apnic root. A success story. Currently, we provide security and trusted SSL services to Microsoft Windows Azure and Office 365 in China. Also, we are looking forward to cooperate with partners to develop this SSL service. Okay, that's all what I want to share today. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. And we will accept the questions after the overall presentation for that. Okay, next is a Apnic update by the Shenwen Kuo.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Shenwen Kuo from Apnic. Today, I will introduce the Apnic update. This is my today's online. First, I will introduce the Apnic member activity. There are including 22 Apnic IP open policy meeting and the Apnic ISP yearbook 2030. Second, I will introduce the IPv6 promotion activities and including IPv6 government services status in Taiwan and the 2014 IPv6 multimedia contest. Then I will talk about IPv6 training, and there are including IPv6 training courses, IPv6 virtual lab. And finally, I will make conclusions. Now I will introduce the first topic, Apnic member activities. We hold the 22 Apnic IP open policy meeting on 4th to 5 June in Taipei, and the topic focus on DNS, DDoS, IPv6 security, IPv6 in mobile network, IPv6 measurement, and IPv6 address management. The speaker come from Cisco, Apnic, Kisa, Telstra, and so on. Then I will talk about the Taiwan ISP yearbook 2030. Since 2002, we published the first Taiwan ISP yearbook. In this year, we published the book on April 2014. In Taiwan ISP yearbook 2030, experts were invited to stress and explore the current development of internet industry and the analysis of international internet and the IPv6 issues. It is not only a platform to share and exchange experience among internet-related communities, but also introduce the most updated information about Taiwan ISP industry. This one? Okay. Hey, no. Now I will introduce the second topic, the IPv6 promotion activities. There are I will introduce the Taiwan government's initiative to deploy IPv6. It announced on December 30, 2011 by elected yuan. And there are two goals. One is the upgrade the first half of public network services to dual stack enable on 2030. The other is the upgrade to the second half of dual stack on 2050. Now, there are 4,959 services need to be upgraded to IPv6 in government agencies. Till August 2040, 3,956 services have been completed. And it was 70%. And to increase people's interest, IPv6 upgrade from all fail to and to encourage the public to use IPv6 network. We hold the IPv6 multimedia contest. Its theme is the IPv6 upgrade quality and experience. The participation sure then a successful experience or feature when upgrade to IPv6 by production multimedia or fan production. No.
It's what?
No.
Next one.
Next slide. Okay. 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 Thank you. Now I will introduce the IPv6 training. In this year, Apnic hold the 5 training courses 5 type training course. They are including IPv6 basic technology, IPv6 routing and firewall, IPv6 advanced technology, Windows Server IPv6, Linux Server IPv6. There are 41 types, and till now there are 170 attendants. Now I will introduce the IPv6 virtual lab service to facing IPv4 address erosion and promotion to promotion IPv6. Apnic set up IPv virtual lab and provide the user who is online to learn IPv6. So we set up the IPv6 virtual labs. Some online hands-on experiments for the training are implemented, such as operating system, such as Linux, CentOS, and Windows 2003, 2008, and 2012, and corresponding DNS server and the web server there to enable IPv6. This slide shows the workflow of virtual lab machine basis hands-on experiment. The user apply for appoint account, and the system responds the account, and the user log in the system, and learn hands-on experience. Then if the user finish then experiment, they can use the online inspection system to check then configuration. Now I will make the conclusion of virtual work. Government IPv6 transition initiative is a good approach to motivate the ICT industry to develop IPv6 services. Now, most government network services to upgrade to IPv6. Next step, we will promote to IPv6 to ISP. We will continue to use IPv6 training course, IPv6 virtual lab activity to promote IPv6. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Ajay, our co-chair Ajay Mao from the Iron Update.
Very good morning to all of you. My name is Ajay Kumar, working for National Internet Exchange of India. Recently, we have been given the task for running the NIR. So I will be presenting the update of Internet Registry for Internet Names and Number. The outline of my presentation will be IRN overview, affiliate status, ASN delegation status, IP address delegation status, IRN policy update, events and training. NIR India has been named as a Indian Registry for Internet Names and Number, is operational from December 2012. As on 15 September 2014, total number of affiliates 684 plus. Organization joined IRN, which is including the 174 organizations who were transferred from Apnic. Most are our affiliates are medium or small scale industries. The detail of our affiliate status, you can see 76% organizations are new organizations. They were not able to take the IP addresses from Apnic. So after opening the NIR India, these organizations have come forward in taking the IP addresses from IRIN. In 684, 510 organizations, including the cable operators, universities, have taken the IP addresses from IRIN. Due to the IRIN in India, you will be happy to note that internet reached to many villages. Many small organizations, many cable operators has taken the IP addresses from IRIN. And year-wise, if you see, from December 2012, within December month, we received only 3 organizations application. And in next year, we have got the 280 organization, and now we have 684 plus organization with us. We received 340 ASN number from IRIN, from Apnic. The details, 274 was the 4-byte ASN and 70 was the 2-byte ASN. So we delegated 264 ASN number out of 270 in 4-byte, and 32 bytes number, ASN number has been delegated. So by default, we delegate the 4-byte ASN. If any organization want the ASN number from us, so we delegate the 4-byte. If any member say that they have the problem and they justify that they are not able to run the 4-byte ASN, then we delegate the 2-byte ASN. And aggregated, IRIN has delegated more than /11 IPv4 addresses, whereas the IPv6 delegation concern is that it is more than /25. Most of the banks and universities are coming forward and seeking the affiliation with us only for the IPv6 addresses. The details of 684, 543 organizations has taken only IPv4, 144 organization has taken IPv4 as well as the IPv6, 3 organizations has taken only IPv6. IRIN policy update, the policy is in line with Apnic and global policies. IRIN hold the annual affiliate meeting to discuss the policy framework. IRIN has adopted the same IPv4 transfer policy and ASN transfer policy also. Under the IPv4 transfer policy, 5 affiliates has opted for from Apnic member to NIR member IPv4 transfers. Nixie has co-hosted the SUNOG 2014 along with APRI-IGF 2014 from 1st August to 6th August in the Greater Noida, India. Recently launch of Dat Bharat domain name in Devanagari script by Honorable Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Sri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji in 27th August 2014. We are going to hold our open affiliate meeting in November. It will be followed by IPv6 training and IRIN WHOIS database management training. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next speaker, update from Apnic. Presenter name is Gwen T. Ong. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to stay here, and it's the first time I attend Apnic meeting, and I'm very happy to introduce myself. Oanh, Nguyễn Thị Oanh is my name, And today I'm going to talk to you about the Apnic update. And my content has including IPv4 address in Vietnam, number of Apnic member, and Apnic member missing in this year, and IPv6 promotion activity, and the next cooperation activity with Apnic and other other organizations in other countries. Upcoming activity, and I am the last. I will told you about the new Apnic headquarters. You can see in the chart the number of IPv4 address in Vietnam is grow up, and in this year, by the August 2014, we reached more than 13 million and 600,000 address in Vietnam, and the number IP member in Vietnam is grow up very fast from 2010 up to now. Especially in this year, we have more than 29 members. I think it's a good number in Vietnam. And you can see in the picture we have the meeting, open member meeting in Vietnam. We on July 24, 2014, we the meeting will held in Hanoi, and we have another location in Ho Chi Minh and Da Nang City via telecom conference, and with more than 100 attendees. The main topic in the Apnic member meeting in this year, we focused on the distribution of return IPv4 address policy. I think it's the new policy of Apnic, and we are continue to. As you know, we are the member of government, so we need to finish the law. So at the end of this year, we think we will active the policy to our member in Vietnam. And as a main topic in the meeting, we focused the IPv6 deployment. Yeah, and we are happy to have the representative of Apnic to take part in research. It's the job. Thank you for Vietnam. And another, we would like to thank you for Apnic, which we set up the clip video and give us a lot of activity of Apnic. Yes, thank you. And IPv6 promotion in Vietnam. I'm going to talk more about that because we have just the national IPv6 master plan and the Vietnam IPv6 days, and as the project in ASEAN region is the promote and increase the deployment IPv6 for SME. That we can see the three tests about the national IPv6 action plan in Vietnam. We stay in the second stage, but the assessment is that we not focus only IT enterprises, ASPs, but we have opened the objects. We focus more than software enterprises, equipment manufacturing enterprises, and .VM registrar, and content service provider, and more than other areas. And you can see the picture. We house the Vietnam IPv6 Day. We made a conference on 6th May 2014. It was the second anniversary event, and with more than 3,300 participants. if you interested in the detail about the event, you can see in the link. Yes, you can follow the link in the website. It's a lot of interesting and in the event. And another also in the Vietnam IPV for 6 days, we have the workshop with training certified network programmer for 3 days. And about the IPv6 ASEAN project, the name just focus on IPv4, IPv6 deployment for SME among the ASEAN region. We have the conference in Hanoi, and on 19 March 2014. About the cooperation activity, we Japanese and Vietnamese MOU in December 2013. And also, it's the most important, I think, we signed NIR agreement between Apnic and Vietnamese during the Apnic 38. And you can see upcoming activity, Vietnamese continuing IPv6 promotion activity. And in the next year, we also had Vietnam IPv6 Day on May the 3rd, the 6th, 2015. And also we report on Internet Resources 2014, which will be public at the end of this year. If you are interested in the Internet Resources of Vietnam, you can see you can go to with my Apnic website. We have the link. Everyone, if you are interested, you can download free in my Apnic website. And also the other upcoming activity, we take part in Hostmaster training in Apnic for 2 weeks. Thank you for Apnic to take an opportunity to have 2 weeks right after the conference. And thank you for all of you to listen. But at the before the end of the my pronunciation, I will introduce you with my new headquarters. It's the 30 kilometers far from Hanoi. It has a building, and just you can see that it's the Apnic logo. Yeah, I'm very happy to have an opportunity to welcome all of you to visit new headquarters. And thank you all of you to listen to my presentation.
Thank you very much. Okay, next update from JPNIC, present by Izumi.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Izumi Okutani. So I'd like to share a little bit of what we do in JPNIC with my colleague Taiji Kimura. So I'm going to cover the policy area, and Taiji is going to cover the technical. So just as a did I switch it off? Sorry.
Right side.
Right.
Here.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So just as a recap of what we do in JPNIC, I think we've basically been sharing the number resource services related activities as an NIR in Japan in the past NIR 6 sessions. But for this presentation, we'd like to share a little bit of what we do in the other area of activities in JPNIC, which we do to contribute in the development of the internet in Japan in general as a non-profit organization. So the kind of things that we do is we provide trainings, outreach on some of the resource-related technologies, research, coordination, and and sharing global or national trends that we feel the Japanese community should know about. And for this presentation, we'd like to pick up on the topic of internet governance and RPKI. So I'll cover the part of our involvement on the internet governance area. So these are some of the key events that JPNIC is keeping an eye on this year, and the future key events that's expected to happen in the coming year. I'm not going to cover everything, but just to pick up one specific example, I think many of you know about the US government announcement, the NTI announcement about their intention to transfer their stewardship on the IANA functions, and this will be discussed in the Apnic meeting this time on Wednesday. So this is one of the things that we keep an eye on, but it's not just restricted to this. We feel that many of the discussions that's happening in this arena, it doesn't just close within the political arena or the technical. So I think the Snowden revelation last year is a very good example. So we can't just say, okay, these are just something that politicians should talk about, or we can just discuss within the community. So we feel that there are many issues that needs collaborative discussions with our governments, the technical community, and some of the issues, including maybe business or academia, to give expert input. So we keep more and more an eye on this area. Oh, sorry, I'm terrible at this. Okay, so in the past, JPNIC has been more of a passive observer on this area. So when there was a lot of attention on the review of the ITR and WCIT in 2012, we're basically observing the discussions. But starting from this year, we started to be much more proactive, both in the global and the domestic arena. So firstly, in the global arena, in the ICANN area, this is not something new for JPNIC actually. We've been a member of what's called ISPCP within the ICANN. That's a group that represents the ISPs in developing policies for GTLD, such as .com, .net, and you know about the new GTLDs that's going to be implemented. So this is something that we've been doing in the past, but additionally for this year, we tried to be more proactively involved in some of the key events, such as Net Mundial meeting, which happened in Brazil this year to define some of the basic internet governance principles, as well as the roadmap, where Akinori Maimura was involved as a member of the EMC, which was involved in trying to develop program, and also myself, there was IGF in Istanbul Internet Governance Forum in Istanbul 2 weeks ago, and I was involved as a member of the MAG trying to develop the program here. And we're seeing more and more of what's happening and interest of the global community, not just within the technical, but outside the people. What are the things that political, like our politicians are interested? What are the things that business people are interested? And domestically, we're feeling that we should really share this kind of situation with our community in Japan, not just with the technical communities we've had close ties with, but then we should also involve our business people, our government, and so that's why we set up this forum called Internet Governance Conference Japan, IGCJ, to have a platform where different stakeholder groups can get together and discuss about a particular issue from a comprehensive perspective and in the context of Japan. Because if we look at a country like the US, they're very actively involved, not just the government, but private sectors. So you see companies like Google, Microsoft, Verizon, Cisco participating, and not just those IT companies, but companies outside of IT industries are getting more and more involved. So we feel that we should have more stake as the Japanese community as well. So what does Internet Governance Conference Japan try to do? We don't really have this kind of environment or community within Japan. So we would like to have a platform where different groups of people in Japan get together, not just the technical community, not just the ministries. We can all get together and discuss, okay, what is a relevance for the Japanese community? And then sometimes there are public comments being made on the global discussions, or maybe sometimes our government makes public comment about a particular issue, for example, on privacy. We want to be able to consider, okay, so what are the implications for us us, and then maybe try to give input from the perspective of the Japanese community as a whole. So we are trying to have regular meetings, hopefully every 2 months. We also set up a mailing list, which just really just started. And we have an English page available. It only has very basic information, but we try to expand and sharing information more in English as well. We have a Facebook page available as well. Unfortunately, it's only in Japanese, but you can maybe get a feel of it by seeing photos and things like that. So we've had 2 meetings so far. The first meeting was held in June this year. The second one was held last month. We try to every time pick up theme that might be of an interest and our community should know. So the first topic was the iron stewardship transition. The second, we actually picked up this topic on net neutrality, which are very active discussions both in the US and Europe. And we were pretty successful in the context of getting a lot of questions for the first one, and then for the second one on the net neutrality, a lot of the technical people came up to us. Hey, we thought that internet governance discussions was something very nothing to do with us, but we realized some of the issues, we really have to keep an eye on. And so I think we're slowly managing to build more interest. But there's much more work to be done to raise awareness, and many people still don't know what's being discussed in the first place, what's the relevance for them, and things like that. And we want to also reach out to the business people as well. And that's basically our situation at this stage, and very much interested to hear what is the situation like in other NIR's community and anything that you're doing in this area. So I'm going to switch to Taiji for RPKI update.
Hi, my name is Taiji Kimura from Apnic. I'd like to talk about RPK things from Apnic. In Japan, for the RPKI is kind of tricky technology, at least last year, and we need to talk about this and how effect for the actual operations in routing in ISPs. And after that, we have some activities last year. We have a working group in JANOG. JANOG is a operators group in Japan. And this year, we have attentions from 2 largest IX, not ISP. The commercial largest IXP is JPIX and JPNOP, and they have talk about the RPKI things. And one largest commercial IX has hands-on session during their seminar. The left picture. And right picture is that it's our seminar, a hands-on seminar in Apnic, and with inviting Oliver from NIST. Its agenda is the simulation of RPKI. And it's also a very impressive session. In Apnic, we are developing our RPKI system, as I explained the previous NIR SIG, and it's going successfully going with our plan. This arrow shows that how long each items take the time, about 2 months for request for proposal and benefit selection, and 3 or 4 months for code reading and requirements. And after October, we'll do a coding and testing, and we'll release the system in February 2015. Thank you. It's not released yet. Our system will serve two types of service for our members, not only members, but also our historical IP address holders. One is that LIR's RPKI web hosting model and our LIR's RPKI CA. Those are very similar to the Apnic serving right now. RPKI tools is our main program for our system, and we are modifying the system for 3 parts. One is the user authentication. We have the different user authentication system using the client certificate in the web browser in ISPs. Second is resource database synchronization with our database system. The RPKI tools already has that kind of design, so we need to only the part of the synchronization part. The third one is multi-language supporting, not only for Japanese, but also other languages also. And one more thing, as a technical talking. Not only the modifying, and we would like to update RPKI tools like IPv6 ROA handling without errors, and showing the published object. The GUI has the list of the published object, but it's not the actual published, but we'll make modification on it. And the third one is error handling, and wave page templates are maybe better than the original after our modifications. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Izumi and Taiji. Okay, next is a Apnic update from the Yonsan Ra.
Good morning, I'm Youngsun La from KISA, Gaelic. Let me start with the statistics in Korea. Firstly, IPv4. As you can see, we have 112 million IPv4 address at this moment. And it was growing until 2010 or 2011, but it stopped increasing since 2011. It's mainly because, you know, at the time it started, the last 8 allocations policy have been implemented. So just a little address that ISP can request, so it's stopped increasing in V4 address. We have 114 ISPs as a registrar for IPv6 IP address, and it's just a little bit decreased compared to the last year. And market transport policy is the issue in IPv4 address in Korea. I've seen some of the NIL have implemented this policy, but it's not implemented in Korea yet because Internet Address Resource Committee they have a meeting on May and they decided not to implement it. Yes, they deferred it. The main reasons is that Korean governments want to focus on IPv6 rather than IPv4 at this moment. So, yep, that's the fact. The IPv4, the market transfer policy is not implemented in Korea yet. IPv6, we have 5,246, so let's see, 32 block size addresses, and as you see, it stopped increasing since 2006, very long time ago. But it doesn't mean Korean government have done nothing. We do a lot of things to, like trial systems, research, but it's mostly research compared to the commercial service for ISPs. But yeah, so the traffic, as you see, there are labs in Apnic and Cisco. They are showing the user traffic of the countries, and Korea is at this moment very low. It's true, but we are dreaming it's gonna be changed this year. So IPv6, we have published a roadmap this March, and it has a lot of contents there, but the main thing is that it includes the plans of major ISPs commercial service. It's one of the major ISPs, they will start LTE service in V6 with a new handset from Samsung. It's coming next week or in 2 weeks, I guess. So it's gonna be a big change in Korea, I hope. And the KISA is operating IPv6 Internet Exchange, and it has been connected to overseas big IPv6 region line. Before that, we used the tunnels, so it has some meaningful for us, and it means we can secure the high quality paths to about 17,000 destinations that has been implemented only for IPv6 in overseas. So it was possible because ISPs in Korea have implemented that IPv6 region lines with overseas corporate this July. And Korean government decided to give benefit to corporate as a tax reductions only for the routers and switches, not others like firewalls, just router and switches, because we have to decide the scope. And so 3% for the large company and 7% for medium and small size company can get a benefit from these tax reductions. At this moment, we are receiving lots of inquiry from ISP. They asking us how to apply for this, right? But there's a lot of questions, but I'm not sure how many they will apply for these tax reductions. They have to apply that until this year, so we will see that what happens early of the next years. We can see it works or not. Okay. And we are providing a document that lists what devices is applicable for these tax reductions, because there are a lot of routers and switches, and some of them supporting IPv6, some of not. So the people wondering which one they have to buy for use this tax reduction. So we are providing the list. And we have IPv6 total care centers. It was opened on May, and we have help desk there for technical support, and we are providing customized consulting, and we have also IPv6 test bed service, and we, also education and training was provided from these total care centers. Yes, this is last slide I have today. IP registration, data, and service management. This topic is actually I came Brisbane about 3 weeks ago. I had an opportunity to stay in Apnic office, and I had meetings with Apnic staffs, and we discuss about these things. That's why I list up here. And it might be a common topic for the other NRLs. So the first one, who is synchronizations? At this moment, in Korea, we are receiving some of the reports, it's kind of claim reports, and the Apnic database, who is database, and the KLIC, who is the database. There are some missynced, so we have discussed about this one and to find why and to fix it. And during the discussion, I just know that every NIL, they use their own way to synchronize it, with the database between Apnic and NIL. So, for example, some of the NIL using their own applications, API, and some of the NIL using FTP to synchronize the database, and some of them using my Apnic. So, yeah, we should respect the autonomy of NIL, but sometimes I feel like if we can unify it into one, that it might be very efficient for Apnic to handle those complicated database. And the second one is disaster recovery. Let's think how if the country are experiencing DDoS attack, cyber attacks, or the disaster, natural disaster like earthquakes or flooding, something like this. But when you think the DNS system is much duplicated, right? In Korea, we have 15 sites for the DNS system. It's located in United States, Germany, China, Singapore, many of countries. We have duplicated DNS, but IP registration database is not duplicated in overseas. So it might be good to have duplicate these IP databases. So, and as you see, we are doing WHOIS synchronizations with Apnic already. So it can be easy. You can duplicate your database. You can save your database in Apnic. They are willing to support NIRs for that. So not only for the database, you can back up the service, the application you have. So we need more discussion for that. After going back to Korea, I should discuss more with the technical team, and we will decide how level of service we are going to make for the backups system with Apnic. So the last one is my Apnic. As you all the NIL already using these systems, and during the discussion of the host master in Apnic, I realized that my Apnic itself is very good tools. It has many functions. You can request the resource from them, and you can manage the sub-accounts, and also you can update the WHOIS database in bulk types. So it's very good tools, even in IPv6 registrations, and to register IPv6 domain object, to make reverse DNS for IPv6. It is a little bit complicated, but there's a useful tool in my Apnic, so it's very good tools. But the only things is that if there is more guidelines and manual for NIR to how to use my Apnic, then it will be much helpful for NIR, I think. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. In final presentation from the UpG, please come up and prepare for the presentation. It's okay? Okay. Next slide for the yes.
Okay, good morning everybody. I'm Valens from UpG, the Indonesia ISP Association, and we also operate as NIR in Indonesia. Okay, and this is what APJ doing in Indonesia. We have a membership from ISP and telco company. Right now it's about 350 members. And we also NIR as IDNIC. We allocate IP address across Indonesia. And then we have also Indonesia Internet Exchange that already operate in 10 cities right now. And also the registrar for NetID. The NetID usually used by ISP and telco operator in Indonesia. And this is the graphic about the IP version 4 allocation in the last couple years. And as we can see, after the /8 allocation, the number of IP address allocated to the community is reduced a lot. So not many IP version 4 we can allocate for the company, but after this we can see the slide that show by the number of the institution receive the IP address, we still got a lot of company and institution that receive IP allocation. So in terms of the number of the IP, it's reduced, but in terms of the number of company or institution, it's still growing. So the demand of the IP version 4 is still high. And what we can see in this graphic is more and more company, non-ISP or non-telco company have their own IP address in Indonesia. And that's because the ISP cannot give the proper number of IP address for the company. That's why the company get their own IP address. Mostly it's banking, university, also government. Also several data center company got their own allocation. So they have their own IP address now. And we did the roadshow and socialization about 2 and 3 years ago about how companies should have their own IP address. Because if they only depend on the ISP, I think in the future they will have a problem because we don't have enough IP address for the company. Okay, and this graphic show the red one is the number of IP address in Indonesia Internet Exchange, and the right one is the number of the prefix, local prefix in Indonesia Exchange. It still grow by years. As we see here, right now in Indonesia Exchange, we have more than 10,000 prefix. And an IP address, it's I think more than 15 million IP address in Indonesian network. This graphs is take lively from BGP data. So this is not from the allocation. This is live from the BGP routing data. And we can see it's still growing up. And about the IP version 6, right now we already allocate 300 allocation for the IP version 6, but only 92 prefix visible on the internet. And about the Apnic Prop 105, I can report that more than 50 institutions or members of IDNIC already get their additional /22 IP address according to the Prop 105 Apnic. And other activities we did in Indonesia is training and workshop. Thank you for the Apnic that supporting our training. Usually we have 3 or 4 workshop class, and it's always we have a lot of high demand. It's almost that we always have 40 participants per workshops. Yeah, we make the workshop in different cities, and we still have very high demands, and we still hope that in the future this collaboration can still be done by Apnic and Apnic. Another important activities by Apnic is in the last 2 years, we do the market research. We do sampling to all over Indonesia, and the result is we got some important statistic about our internet users. And one of the important data, and usually this data used by the Indonesian government also, this is the number of Indonesian internet users. Yeah. The statistic coming from the research done by Apnic, and the 2013 data show that we have 71 million internet users in Indonesia. Yeah. That's a quite big number, but it's still quite far from the WSIS target on 2015 that we have to have 50% of the population. Yeah. Still a lot of hard work have to be done to catch the target. Yeah. And I think I don't have the slide, but one thing I want to inform about the participation Apnic in the IGF, because Isumi mentioned IGF also, and Apnic take important lead position in IGF 2013. I think Isumi was there also. Yeah. And also Apnic helped the committee much, and I think we successfully host the IGF 2013. And also, it's not finished at the international IGF, but we already make also the national IGF by September this year, just 1 or 2 weeks before the Istanbul IGF. And this IGF really growing our relationship with all the multi-stakeholder institutions. So usually we are only the company and the government, but with the IGF we got more and more relationship, very nice relationship with all the NGO and all the multi-stakeholder. I think, okay, and that's all my report from Apnic and Apnic. Thank you.
Okay, could you change my presentation? Okay, thank you for the all presenters. So we accept their comment or question to the all during the all session. Do you have any comment on that? Okay. Okay. At the first, George, the first. Thank you.
Is that okay? I'd like to thank everyone for those, because there were some amazing snippets of information in that. If I start with CNNIC, Jessica, you showed a flat rate of allocation of V4 over 3 years. And I think this is very similar to an experience Apnic has had, where the rate of giving out a resource is not related to the demand in the community, it relates to the production rate of workers issuing transactions, because people work at a constant rate. And we have a very similar experience that when there is a mechanistic process to hand out a resource, we achieve a flat rate of production, because you do 10 a day. That's what a person can do. So I think your demand curve may well be much higher, and this is about the mechanism of how things proceed. The other observation is the ITU population of internet users for China was 500 to 550 million at the beginning of the year, and you now show 640 million. That is massive growth. I think that is very significant growth, comparable to the growth in India, which is also a phenomenal rate of increase. It was very, very interesting to see how strong the uptake is, and the penetration into the community is now getting so high. That was very interesting.
Your comment? No? Okay, thank you. Next comment.
Thank you. I have a query for Jessica. You referred about Chinese Petroleum Corporation taking a very large allocation for Internet of Things. What kind of Internet of Things they intend to do? Can you tell us?
They want to use Internet of Things in the petroleum network. Because it's I think it's an industry field. There are many devices and equipments in the petroleum network that are very huge if they use, and they want to use the devices and the equipments intelligent. So they plan to put IP addresses on them. But if they, IPv4 addresses has exhausted. So they choose IPv6 to. They would choose IPv6 to the Internet of Things. Is that? Yeah, are you clear?
No, I am getting it. Thank you very much. I just wanted to understand their plans. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, next.
Hi. Thanks, Sanjay from Apnic. First, I would like to compliment all the NIRs for presenting this time. I know it's option, but it's really good to see all of you presented today and share such useful information. I've got two questions. One is to China, India, and Indonesia, basically, because I'm seeing a very strong growth in terms of your membership. So I'd like to know, what did you do? Was it just a natural? Do you think that it's still going to grow in the future? Or did you do any outreach? If you could share that, that would be nice. The second question is about IPv6. Now, it hasn't been announced yet, but the survey, part of the survey result that you're going to see tomorrow is for Apnic to focus on IPv6. It's our top priority according to the survey to focus back into IPv6. Now, I suspect that is because, 3 regions has basically run out of IPv4, right, in the world. So what I'd like to ask is, particularly to Taiwan, Vietnam, I think, and Korea, who's been focusing on IPv6, what are the major issues in IPv6 at the moment? Is it still equipment? So I'll give you 3 options. One is it still equipment capabilities, or is it still business driver that no one, the business space, the CEO doesn't care about it, or is it still development skill? I mean, do we need to train people? So that's the questions to the rest of the NIRs as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone can comment or answer to Sanjay's question? We have, okay. Okay, and one, at first, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I am Farid from Apnic. Answering Sanjay's question about the outreach program, yes, we did a roadshow into several cities. We invite especially government and corporate, and we describe how it's more easier if you have your own allocation than if you dependent on the ISP allocation. That's why we got quite a lot of new members. Yes, it's small members, /22 maximum, but we have like quite like 50 to 100 members, new members per year, and I think it's still growing up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Sanjay, let me make an attempt, and I think it's very important to understand somewhere that localized intelligence or domain understanding of a geographical area would always be with the ones who are from there, right? Say, for example, when we talk about a marketing network or a franchising network, we very particularly, ensure that we have a guy from that locality whom we would like to market our product through. His understanding is always far better. And it's a class thing which is happening in case of in India at least, where I could see the membership going so high that if you take what membership today, that regional industry of India is, because I'm really surprised somewhere, I must confess today I realized that there is they call it name and numbers. I don't know what the names are there, but that's how they call it, so I have to accept it, right? Definitely I would like them to go and talk about this, that how can you bring names into this. Anyway, coming back to the thing that today they have 600 odd numbers and 400 odd numbers are with Apnic. So that has taken the number straight to 1,000, which was never a case. And really this is an example that how good it would be if we will empower localized. It's a local country. That's right. I think that's what actually is happening. And India being late out in the process, and whereas China, Taiwan being there earlier, their strength is growing and multiplying. I think this is my viewpoint and a submission to your question.
Thank you. Okay, next, George.
No, Wendy. So I just wanted to also observe the Chaonic presentation discussing the opportunities regulators have to offer inducements as well as obligations. I think we often discuss regulators in our communities with a very difficult edge, because impositions in a commercial competitive environment is very difficult. It's distorting. People are looking for less of that. But regulators always have two roles. They can induce and they can oblige. And what has happened in Korea is they've said, okay, you guys have a problem. You have equipment, it has to be replaced. Let's make an even playing field for everyone to replace equipment and do a tax break. And I think that's phenomenal, and that's a great signal of commitment, and we need to recognize these things. I think that's a really, really good initiative. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. Wendy?
Wendy Zhao from CNIC. I would like to share some experience with the knowledge I lately get from some of the local company. I would say company because they're doing very different business. Regarding to the IPv6, we have seen the enthusiasm goes down a little bit. I don't know elsewhere, but in our region goes down a little bit because we have a very good dinner for the devices company that they upgrade their device and they get ready for IPv6. They're ready to sell them to the company ready to upgrade their network. But they find out there's no content over there. So they have to get someone to rewrite their code. Let's say we have project to help the main content provider, I won't mention name, to go immigrate their key application from IPv6 to IPv4 to IPv6. And luckily they have done that. But they take them lots of effort to do it because at the beginning people just get the things done. So when they write in the code, instead of write out domain name, they write the IPv6 inside the code. So if they want to upgrade the whole software, they have to, it's easy to rewrite them to instead of digging out the IPv4 address and to write them in domain name. So that's the point that we have get backbone ready. All the local operators, the main operators, telecom, Unicom, and mobile, they all get the backbone ready years ago, but they can't really turn on the application nationwide because there's few content over there. And the trial over there is we have some big ISP go on trial, they get about 100,000 of their end user IPv6 enabled. That's just enabled. But they didn't really see lots of traffic down there just because It's not a lot of content. And just following the question for Jessica, that why we see that big of IPv6 applications and which area, we find out lots of application actually is from the Internet of Things, because they don't need content. The content is over there. It's very simple. Let's say the petroleum company, they just need IPv6 address embedded into their smart devices. And also the experience we got is there's a city called Erdos, which used to be a very poor city, but they go really fast because they found coal, and they get really rich during the past 10 years. And the first thing they get is like every 5 meters they have a CCTV. So those CCTV camera is IPv6 supported, and they done it for within that last 2 or 3 years. So they say when we go down there to approach them, what if you have like IPv6 instead of IPv4 and give it a try? And they say, yeah, we can do that because that camera is IPv6 enabled. I say, what? You just get your city, wealth for the past 2 years, and you get your camera IPv6 enabled. That's the big thing that devices company have done. But that's the key point. We're probably going to see quite a lot of application in my region from the company who want to develop IPv6 into their smart devices, which is the Internet of Things. And that's my experience and knowledge to share with the audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Additional, okay, Masato. Yeah, quite okay.
I have one comment about for CNNIC and also one question for RPKI of JPNIC. Comment for CNNIC. I think member location shows now medium and small operators are now emerging even in undeveloped area because big player in China's direct member of Apnic. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's very good signal for the Internet of China, I think. And question for JPNIC is, I think you said about some IXPs implemented LPKI on their infrastructure. Do they implement LPKI only on loud servers or implemented on each peer?
Daiji, can you answer for that? Thank you.
In ISPs, they use, they think they're both ways, but not actually implemented in actual routers. Before that, they use it's a kind of watch and how do we say that? What's the change of the origin of the route, and they also see the change of the path, but in RPKI we cannot check currently, but they use as a kind of watcher of the roads currently.
Okay, the reason I ask this point is I already saw a couple of loud hijacking incidents on loud server about American IXPs. So that's the reason why I asked this point.
Thank you very much. Okay, and another comment. Also, do we have any other business at this time? Okay, and we have IPv6 plenary after the morning tea. Also, we have a security track within this week. Let's discuss about and share. Please share to your experience for each session. So finally, we are going to conclude this session. Also, see you next time at Fukuoka. that is where is my home country. So thank you for participating to the NIS session. Let's get to its session will be closed. Thank you very much. Also, I'm sorry for the oral presenter come here and taking a group photo for I want to using to the report of the NIRC and AMM on Friday.
Just while we're doing that, I have a small housekeeping item. We want to make you aware